Here we have Piles, the old CEO and current CCO, giving an impromptu Discord Q&A. This is Reddit. They did a recap regarding the Eruptor's shrapnel. It had insane AoE uses, but now it's like a firecracker. Agree. At first, it used the orbital airburst shrapnel, which of course was a tad bit much. Nah, I think bring it back. But removing it completely was the wrong way to go. It had the airburst shrapnel. If you guys don't know, orbital airburst is honestly pretty good. Wanted to say very great game. Would have loved to see stronger weapons, but with that, more enemies to balance out our new power, and stronger weapons equals more enemies. But the anti-tank weapons need to kill heavies faster. Our primary weapons should kill light enemies quicker, chaff. Our heavy weapons or support weapons should be killing heavy enemies at a decent rate as well. There is an absurd discrepancy between how quickly you can kill a heavy monster and how you kill them across the board. That has been the issue I've had with the game since it came out. I think it needs to have the same approach that Monster Hunter, Wild Hearts, and Dauntless have, which is every weapon can kill a monster, but in different ways. What about all weapons instantly losing 1 damage when the shot leaves the barrel unless you are moving forward? Yeah, we should round up instead of just rounding the damage. It's based on velocity of projectile. The heavier the projectile, the less damage fall off. I think we need weapon upgrades and customizations to be able to tailor playstyle for advanced divers. I'm not sure where that plays a role in the question, but I love the answer. I think that that's going to make so much of an improvement for the game. But hopefully we get some upgrades for base weapons before we get a upgrade system. Yes, agree. Weapons should feel powerful, as it says on the box. That's what Johan's saying, and the box, I believe, is in reference to the PS5 cover saying, spread democracy with overpowered weapons. That's what people want. That's what they kind of had when the game first came out. Although it wasn't intentional, the railgun was broken. It was not supposed to do that kind of damage, so players got that false sense of reality. And I think it might be a good thing, because that made the game more popular, and now you have folks that want that back, and that could be the catalyst for change going forward. It's nuts to see how this is working out for the game. It could be the best thing to happen to it is the game-breaking glitches, oddly enough. That's my current stance. Welcome back, by the way. I hope you could regenerate a bit during your vacation. Why is this so high on the list? Thank you. Almost painted 2,000 points of Lizardman. Never heard of that. After 8 years of development, I finally crashed. Now I'm rested and ready to help the team reach higher quality now and finish the next big update. How is staff morale doing? I see so much negativity out here sometimes. I wouldn't want it to raise stress levels on the dev team. This is the issue. It's become popular to hate Helldivers 2. At first, it was popular to defend it and everything it did, and so folks did that, and they are part of the reason why the game is where it is. You had a fan base of people that could not let their favorite game make any mistakes. It's hard. It's a tricky situation. The criticism is valid, but it causes low morale, and low morale causes slow development speed. Talk about negative spiral. I think it's important for us to reiterate to the team that criticism happens because people care. The worst thing would have been if we effed up and no one cared. I've been caring from the beginning, and all that happened was I got basically burned at the stake for a long, long time. And now that it's popular to hate the game, I'm the one who's trying to hold back a bit, because I could have posted a what really changed video with some things that folks aren't talking about right now that don't lead to a good experience. I'm not going to, because the current view of the game is it's popular to hate it, and I'm not trying to fuel that fire. And even in doing so, I am on accident with the whole recent I hope this changes video where Piles gave a talk 2 months ago. For the mech rearm, have you guys thought of using the supply backpack to reload mechs? If you're going to go mech only, it makes sense to pick it up anyways. If you can resupply teammates, why not mechs? Yeah, but we think some sort of resupply base with infinite ammo would be the way to go. We'll have to see. We have a design workshop sometime in the future to connect the dots. Is that going to be a public-facing workshop or not? Because I am always interested to see what their ideas are for the game. Could we get some weapon lab? To improve weapons using samples, once you have them maxed, they're pretty much useless. In-game economy. You're so close to what we're working on. Oh my gosh, we're going to get some weapon upgrade systems. A weapon lab. Can we spend samples on one-time use items like extra ammo, stim, grenade caps for one mission, or co-op? What about stratagems? Let the leader of the group spend, not samples, we need those. Let us spend the rec slips, which we can get so quickly. 10,000 from a single mission, almost 15k from one mission. Let us spend those to give ourselves a stratagem of choice, and maybe limit stratagems we can choose from, so you're not just picking the P-Strike and 500 kg every mission. Make them like fun ones that folks don't normally use. Or make them all of them, who cares? So that way we can essentially do the role that Joel has, but we can do it ourselves and take things that make sense for our mission. It's a good idea, and actually the way boosters used to work. What, spending samples? We gotta be cool with the samples, because sure, we get capped on samples quickly, but the moment new things pop up, like a new ship module, I am broke, son. They cost a lot of samples. Make it not that. Make it rec slips in this case. Upgrades for weapons, samples. I'm cool with that. Spending it on random buffs for your mission, rec slips. Do you plan to bring the XO51 Lumber exosuit to Helldivers? Yes, but I don't know when. I think that's the one that has a flamethrower, and I'm not sure what else. Has mech customization been considered? Add-ons, mix and match weapons, mechs. Yes, customization is an active discussion. I've been wanting that since the day mechs came out. And some ideas I gave for mech arms would be a shield arm, railgun arm. Obviously flamethrower, maybe a chainsaw. When's that melee weapons going to come out? In the meantime, they should make it so the stratagem selection icons are next to their own family of weapons. So we have machine gun next to stalwart HMG. We have recoilless rifle near the E17, commando, quasar, spear. Just put weapons that are in the same category near each other. Railgun, AMR. That would save a lot of time on picking stuff, because I get lost in the menu so bad sometimes. I haven't played the game for a while. I get lost. It seems like balancing is based around teamwork and coming off of Helldivers 1, where the team is forced to stick together because they share the screen. But in Helldivers 2, we can and will easily become split up. So perhaps there is a mistake in the approach. This isn't Helldivers 1, and you can't balance around teamwork the same way. Well, it's even more important to ensure that we get synergies from teamwork as players can spread out. The game tries to make players want to stick together. Except it doesn't. The only thing that makes you stick together is the resupply, but even then you can just die, get your ammo back, and go get support weapons and get ammo from a POI. You can bring a supply backpack for most weapons and get your own stims or your own ammo. The only thing that requires teamwork in this video game is the buddy bunker, and that's not an objective, that's a random side mission. It's not even a mission, it's a random thing to get some extra loot. That is the only thing that objectively requires teamwork. The buddy reload isn't even teamwork. It's one player going AFK while another player can shoot his weapon and have fun. It's not really working as a team there. You go mentally AFK and they get to shoot with our weapon. And then we have pre-save loadouts. Yes, that's in the works somewhere. Also, what name would you give the little larva in a jar? That's a good name. A good portion of the community has dubbed it Steve. Would you agree, or do you have a better name? I always called her Larvis. Folks, we have a new name. The larva in a jar is Larvis. It's like Jarvis. The larva in a jar should be Jarvis. I've changed my mind. We are now calling it Jarvis from now on. Can we expect AT-47 emplacement from Helldivers 1 in the future? Oh my god, yes. It's so cool. We only have one emplacement, but more are coming. Autocannon emplacement, rocket sentry emplacement, freaking rail cannon emplacement would be disgusting. Long charge up, and can roll a Bile Titan potentially in one shot. Maybe two. Maybe one. What about reloading mechs? Like picking up ammo while in the mech, or assigning the last used mech like a support weapon. It'd be so fun if you could use the mech the entire game. I would love it. We have some thoughts on how mech rearm would work, potentially as a tactical objective or a vehicle-based stratagem. I also had that idea. Dropping down a vehicle bay, you can maybe change your mech, but that's a bit wacky, but you can reload the mech. So it'd be essentially like a supply backpack, but you can't put on your person, and instead you drop it down and it resupplies the mechs. That's a good idea. Good job, Dell. And Piles and crew. What do you think of this idea? Auto reload on picking up ammo from resupplies. I have to manually reload ammo on my spear, anti-tank or primary before picking up supplies to not waste ammo. It's filling up my mag would be so cool. I gave that idea as well. I say, good minds think alike. The wild thing is spear, for example, you have 4 shots, rockets. You shoot all 4 of them and you go to resupply. Resupply, you only get back 3 because you have to reload. You get back 4, but reloading 1, you get -1 already. If it automatically reloaded you, you get back all your shots, and that is a buff that isn't game-breaking by any measurement, and just a massive quality life improvement. That's also a buff. Same thing goes for the recoilless rifle, all weapons in general. The autocannon would get back 10 whole shots if you're empty. You want to keep it grounded, i.e. no magical bullet transfer. I'm asleep. I'm asleep. I'm asleep. I have fallen asleep. I have absolutely... I'm in deep slumber right now. We want to keep it grounded, no magical bullet transferal. Picking up a box of ammo and it turns into rockets. That seems pretty magical to me, man. Auto stim booster that takes away the stim animation. We once had a backpack that was a robot arm that stimmed anyone nearby. I think we need more support stratagems in general for those that want to play to help the team. Genius! Actually, an amazing idea. I think that trying to encourage different playstyles is a fantastic thing. We gave some wild, wacky stuff in a recent non-posted video / stream about armor changes. I won't post that right now because folks will flame me. We made this game into an MMO. It's not great. But I think that support style stuff is huge. I think a stim gun of some kind would be awesome to have. You shoot your teammate, gives them a bonus, maybe extra defense, maybe inject them with pheromones, and they can draw away the bugs. It's essentially going to be a monkey grenade from Call of Duty, but your teammate's the monkey, and they're luring away the bugs. I've not really seen a place for the Angel or Rep 80 Helldivers 1 gear in this game, TBH. Stims are so strong already. They are, agree, a bit of regret there, and we don't want to nerf stims either. Is there any chance of an auxiliary drone or of the sort being in the game? It'd be really nice if we can get a stratagem that's like that one mission in COD Modern Warfare where you control a Lockheed AC-130. Just give me the gunner ship from Call of Duty, from Modern Warfare 2, the AC-130 from Call of Duty 4. Those would be absurdly sick to pilot. Dude, I wanted that for such a long time. Drone controller backpack or something, maybe a support weapon. An engineer once did a prototype of a UGV bomb stratagem as a test. Was pretty cool, but not as usable as the other stuff. So there's a chance. Hey pals, what's your opinion on Chaos Divers? I'm asleep. I think it's interesting. Play the game the way you like. You heard it here, folks. You can team kill. You got the pass from the young old CEO. We have a civil war going on. Yeah, I wish we had more functionality in the Galactic War to show the effects. The effects of the players rioting. I think it's crazy how Helldivers 2 does a good job at trying to reflect what's happening in real time in the game itself. When the folks hacked the samples, they had some pretty funny tongue-in-cheek stuff going on to talk about the hacking, but in a canon way for the game. It's worth considering fixing a few basic issues, which would make certain weapons feel more viable and more fun without even buffing anything, like the misaligned scopes and the -1 damage falloff. Aside from making more weapons more reliable and fun without the need for any design changes, it would be a sign of goodwill and that the company is heading into the right direction. Yeah, for sure. The misaligned scopes is so annoying. And that's a good idea as well. That's a quick way to fix things, to not get the folks that are the gladiators of glizzies to rile and say, they're making the game too easy by just buffing weapons that are doing next to nothing here. You can instead make weapons work the way they should. My AMR is missing shots. I am aiming correctly. Scope on their face, I shoot, it hits them in the collar region on a Devastator, so I don't get the one shot with the AMR. Some sort of sample sharing pool. I'd love to give my friends who don't play much my samples or medals because I'm always maxed. In-game economy. Agree. The concern would be that real money transfer an influx of cheaters that would sell items. Yeah. I don't know why, but there's apparently boosting services in Helldivers 2, and I just despise that kind of nonsense. Because it definitely makes it to where we can't have this going on. It's the same thing, whereas in school, you can't chew bubblegum in class because you have idiots putting it under the desk. They ruin it for everyone. The few ruin it for the many. And this is an example of them being afraid to do this because the few would ruin it for the many. And it's a reasonable concern to have as well. Are boss fights like what we had in Helldivers 1 something that's on the table as a possible addition? Maybe. I'd hope so. I think that boss fights would go crazy because I've spent a large portion of my gaming career fighting bosses. I love it. There's something about just getting better at a difficult fight that just feels amazing. And in Helldivers, the best feeling for me is killing heavies, super heavies, elites, so your Chargers, Hulks, Bile Titans. That's the best feeling overall. When you kill chaff, it's fun when the number goes up. So it's fun to get kill streaks on chaff. It's fun to just kill individual big heavies in certain ways. They teased the cape regarding the review bombing that would have been amazing with community acceptance. Still have yet to see that. Don't hold your breath here. PSN drama. We don't want to release it until we get more clarity on the country issue. I like that. That's a good move. Any update on the review bomb cape and locked regions? Basically, review cape is waiting for region conclusion. We don't want to release it before it's resolved. Wait, so it's not concluded yet? Could Sony really return on their decision? The other way around. The final decision, if it will be sold in more countries. Huh? What does that mean? So what he's trying to say, I believe, Piles here, is that Sony could remove the restriction on folks buying it in the 180 countries, which they should. That is the logical answer. Sony's not very logical, so we'll see what happens. Time will tell. Would it be possible to adjust the weapon positioning on the character's shoulder when switching the camera angle? This tweak would significantly enhance both realism and tactical gameplay. My good sir, if you ever write realism in a comment, in a Q&A again, you should be barred from ever speaking in the Discord. Hey, we unfortunately did not do this because the amount of animations required would be 2 times what we have. Yeah, don't waste your time on that. Slowing development of new weapons and making the system harder to maintain. I agree that I want it, but we need to improve the quality of releases first. Modern engines have something called animation mirroring, but we are not using a modern engine. When is Helldivers 3 coming out? We need it so bad. As a big fan of the black and yellow OG armors, will we get some version of the engineer perk at some point? Cosmetics. Man, these folks are asking some of the most boring questions. Why not ask him, when can we expect to get transmogs? When can I expect to pick my armor I want to use, and then I can select a certain trait that fits the armor? The team is working on a color mod system, same as a vehicle pattern for armors. Thank you, old CEO. That's a good answer. And you made their question better. Appreciate you. Were you aware of the changes to Flamethrower put through as a bug fix that included changing the graphics? Read about it on Facebook when at a family's dinner during vacation. I understand what it aimed to do, but it was not iterated upon enough, and the VFX looks like TF1. They look terrible. See, I'm liking that Piles is being very upfront about what he feels about these things. He's not really doing any corporate talk. Can you guys take a look at the Blitzer and it not being able to hit some enemies that are near destructible environment elements like chairs, tables, fences, and whatnot? Can y'all buff the Blitzer? Give me 2 of them. Increase the fire rate? We have options. Seems like something that would be easy to fix. Do you plan to bring flying vehicles to the game, or would that be completely out of the question? I promised the tech lead we would never. A lot of assumptions have been made on that. Yeah. When I was talking about the AC-130 and gunship in a different setting, I said it'd be cool to have the AC-130 and gunship and you can pilot it. It'd be even cooler if you could be the one, or to have like the screen and you're the one controlling it but not actually flying it. But it would be cooler to be able to fly it. I just feel that that'd be insanely difficult to put into the game. Like that kind of an implementation is ridiculous. When I play difficulty 6, it's just too many chargers, as it always has been. It's fine if one mission is charger heavy and another is hordes of chaff, but it does devolve into chargers galore. I think that having the ability to sort of see what mission is focusing on would be massive for folks picking their loadouts. Any chance of a collaboration with Deep Rock Galactic, Coffee Stain? It's my personal headcanon that our Galactic War is funded by the Dwarves mining efforts. That'd be hilarious, but where's mention of Space Marine? Or Warhammer 40k? We need those collabs as soon as possible. While we're looking to do collabs, I think it's more important that we improve the state of the game and the quality of our updates, which I think is a good move. If they dropped a collab right now, it wouldn't be a good look. Had they done a collab before all the current uprising, it'd have been massive. And if they fix the game and they fix the current way that players feel about it, the collabs would go crazy, which I would definitely get a Warhammer skin. Does this mean no beta test servers, or will there still be one? Right. We will have an experimental server at some point. It's being worked on. Interesting. It will be a restricted group of active users and some sort of NDA attached. We don't want spoilers for those that aren't testing. All I'm saying is I haven't posted a single leak. I've been under NDAs before. I haven't broken NDAs except one time. The game I was playing was Dauntless, and they showed a split-second screenshot of a monster that I didn't even notice. I didn't even see. And it was like a pre-alpha version or image of the monster they were testing. It was for Agris at the time. Wasn't my fault. That's the only time I technically broke NDA, I'm just saying. Can we get a shower in the ship? You are suspect. Something we can interact with after we get out of missions to get the gunk off. Yes. How do we deal about being able to bring in Seaf buddies at some point? This is also in the works. So much being worked on. The stability and balance controversies gets in the way of us giving you amazing new stuff. If you lock in, everything becomes easier. If you forego your focus on realism, things can improve drastically. Because if y'all didn't know, when they nerfed the Breaker a long time ago, one of the first nerfs ever, they changed the magazine look in game. They gave it a different model, genuinely a different model. They're just focused on certain things that take away from their dev time. And I hope that they can sort of get away from that in the future. I'd say localized confusion should be changed into a 50% increased time for enemies to call in reinforcements. Don't do that. I hate the idea that folks can take a booster that makes my game easier. I think localization confusion, make it so patrols don't go straight to your forehead. Patrols don't have GPS. They don't have your location in Google Maps, and they cannot just book it towards you. Because it doesn't make the game easier necessarily. It just makes it less arbitrary, because that change was annoying to begin with for most people. Increasing the time for breaches is lame. Breaches are where the combat comes from. That's where the content comes from. This alone would make playing in a group a snooze fest. When everyone else is dead and you're spectating, the last man in Darktide, it's tense. When the same thing happens in Helldivers 2, you're checking your watch and wondering what's taking this guy so long to punch in the reinforce, and you don't care if he dies because the game will auto-reinforce the team anyways. Who are you? Go back to your home, dude. What? Is that even a question? Yes, team wipe should be a bigger deal than it is. Don't give him fuel. What do you guys think of team wipe redeploying squad at last completed objective or insertion point? Whichever is most recent. Okay, we're playing Dark Souls. Objectives are the new shrines or the new freaking bonfires. Let's go ahead and redeploy. Oh, refill your Estus flask. Can you give us bonuses for staying in proximity to other Helldivers? Don't do it. We don't want to use artificial means, but we have talked about it. Okay. So this is good, except there already are artificial means, which is the fact that resupplies are a one-time. It's like a one-time thing every 3 minutes, and the first person calling it in gets it. So in theory, resupplies are supposed to encourage team play, but they don't. Instead, they encourage folks to just use it when they use it if you got it, essentially, especially in conjunction with the reduction of ammo that we kept seeing as of recent. You lost ammo. You lost ammo. No magazines for you, thee, he, everybody. So that has caused a flux or a surge of people to spam resupply when they can, and it leaves folks to not have it. And newsflash, folks that are playing with randoms generally don't stick together. Sometimes they will, especially on lower difficulties, because it's just like the way they play. But on Super Helldive, you will almost never see folks holding hands that are randoms. And the majority of people playing this game are playing with randoms. Mech Hellbomb explosion for an emergency release as a last resort. This was the original design. All the Muppets in the comment section of that video saying, making a mech suit explode like that is super unrealistic. Y'all can eat my shorts. I wish that there was more conversation about how to kill chargers and maybe the potential to make weapons better at killing chargers from the front, because that's what matters. We see time and time again folks talk about, well, a flamethrower got nerfed. They fixed a bug, actually, but it can still kill chargers. You know, just gotta stun grenade it, get behind it, and blow its back out. You have to waste a stun grenade to kill a charger when there are tons of chargers in the missions, and not everyone even has stun grenades. Stun grenades are not a common item. Well, they are if you pay money or you use super credits. But how is a new player supposed to kill a charger with a flamethrower? Good talk. So I wish there was more conversation about the potential to make weapons that can't kill a charger from the front that should be able to, and maybe discussion on time to kill. Time to kill wasn't mentioned one bit in this either. There were some great questions, but I do wish that some other ones were talked about. Time to kill being the big one, because that is where a lot of frustration lies in terms of weapon balance. Now, Pals did mention power and making weapons more powerful, so maybe that's the answer in all of this. Ever use stun grenades? They're nuts. See, if all is said and done and the devs make amazing changes to weapons, they buff a bunch of things, make more viable loadouts, I wouldn't care if they nerf stun grenades. I think stun grenades are one of the most boring things. I wouldn't even care if they nerfed stratagems, the ones that aren't support weapons, if they just buffed support weapons. Because I think it's way more fun to shoot something with a weapon than it is to kill it with a 500 kg or a P-Strike. That's my hot take. I wouldn't mind. But you have to buff things before you nerf anything. That's the path forward for Helldivers 2 is literally you have to buff stuff before you even consider nerfing anything. It can't even be a word in the dictionary at Arrowhead right now. Nerfing cannot happen until you buff a bunch of stuff. And if it does happen, the buffs need to drastically outweigh the nerfs in a quantifiable manner. If they don't, the divers will riot at dawn. I'm just saying. And then collabs. They didn't mention any Warhammer collabs. They just talked about how the collabs will happen if, or once they fix the game up a little bit. Because the current state of the game, if a collab released right now, some folks would buy it for sure. But it would just make the folks that are already angry even more angry. And that's not a good look. So I think there's a lot of self-awareness here that is huge. Haas is a smart dude. You have folks calling him a bunch of mean things for no good reason, like attacking his character, but he's a smart guy, and he does care about the game. And he's said a lot of good stuff in all these responses. Now, some things, very few, were a bit questionable, but we'll definitely see what happens. Like, actions speak louder than words, but the words here have been pretty good so far.